I've been trying to get hold of the Fuji 27mm f2.8 for ages. In the UK and in Europe, dare I say, they're sold out everywhere. Second-hand prices are higher than new prices, so I just kind of left it. However, now in Japan, I've managed to find one. They've got them here, and they're a bit cheaper as well, which is a bonus. Therefore, in this video, I'm going to share with you my first impressions and actually a bit of a review after using this lens for a month. This video is also sponsored by Squarespace, but more on them later on. Let's first start with why 27mm, so 40mm in full frame terms. Two of my favourite focal lengths are the 23mm Fuji and the 35mm Fuji, so that's a 35 and a 50mm full frame equivalent. However, there's certain times when I find the 23mm lens to be a little bit too wide and the 33 or 35 to be a bit too tight. So typically I would use the 23 for scenes and the 33 for subjects. However, sometimes I just want that in between to get both the scene and the subject. And whenever I go for a walk, I sometimes have to try and decide between, do I want to go wider or tighter? So I wanted a lens which can kind of give me a bit of both, and this is where this particular focal length comes in. In my experience using it, I found that it makes for the perfect daily walkabout focal length, and it covers pretty much everything. If you want to get a photo of the scene, you don't need to go too far back to get everything in, and you don't have to come too close to the subject if you want a detailed shot. So in general, it almost seems to be like the perfect balance between wide and tight. Now, I'll be honest, the main reason I actually chose this lens wasn't so much the focal length, because I did have the Viltrox 27 and that was pretty good, but it's actually the size. I wanted something that would make this camera borderline pocketable. Now, this isn't pocketable, of course, but on an X-T5, this lens does almost make it pocketable if you have a giant coat pocket. But I wanted something light I can just throw around my neck and go for an all-day walk without having to worry about it bumping into things, and also being able to just throw it into a small sling and generally have a point-and-shoot pocketable system that I can take with me. And after a month of using this particular lens, even on this body, the bigger body, I can honestly say it's so nice to go out for a walk with this. Yeah, I mean, when I stick one of the bigger lenses back on this camera, it just doesn't feel as good as this little thing. Now let's have a quick chat about build quality. The entire lens is made from metal, including the mount, the body, the aperture dial, the little log button, and of course the focus dial as well. Considering it's all metal, it does feel very light, as I've said earlier, and it feels very sturdy, certainly compared to some of the cheaper plastic alternatives from, I think it's TT Artisan who make a similar one. This feels a lot more premium. I've used it in some light rain, I've not dropped it, and overall it's been fine. However, if I'm judging, let's just say, Fuji lens performance based on my other lenses, I don't really see any issues. This is a very premium feeling product, which it should be for the price. And overall, I have nothing really to say about build quality that's negative. Of course, yeah, I did mention it's got weather sealing. It's got a little rubber gasket and other weather sealing bits. I think that's it. Not really much else to it. Now let's talk about image quality. Sorry if I sound a bit out of breath. We are hiking up to a mountain that's opposite Fuji to get a nice view of Fuji. You can get a ski lift, I guess, to get there, but that's just boring, isn't it? So, fucking hell. As I was saying, image quality. So, overall, in my opinion, the image quality is very good, even when wide open at f2.8. The closest lens I can compare it to is, I'd put it somewhere between the 23 f2 and the 35 f2. So it's definitely not the sharpest Fuji lens. I mean, you can't expect it to be super sharp at this size. However, it's not what I'd call soft either. It's definitely very usable. Of course, it's f2.8. You are getting a bit of softness around the corners, and if you want the best image, or in terms of technical sharpness, you'd want to stop it down to if I remember correctly, around about f5.6, something like that. With that said, even at f2.8, it is extremely usable. You can use it at night, you can shoot at f2.8 without... Fucking hell. As I was saying, even at f2.8 you can use it without an issue, and compared to like a TT Artisan, which is useless at f2.8, this is actually useful. My fitness is horrible. I thought my fitness was good, but I mean, this is a serious climb to be fair, but... Very quick interruption, but look at that view. That's wild. That's also why hiking up is always better than taking the gondola, ski lift, whatever that thing is called, because you get views like that. I just want to end this section on one very important point. There is a big difference between image quality and a quality image. I think James Popsis said it best in one of his videos not long ago. When you look at a photo in front of you, in theory, the first thing that you should be thinking about or looking at is the actual photo. What's happening? What's going on in the image? So the first thing you're thinking to yourself is, oh wow, the corners are a bit soft. Oh wow, the center is very sharp. It's probably not a very compelling image. It's good technically, could be very good technically, but that's about it. So just something to keep in mind. Now, in terms of the autofocus motors, they are on the old side. It's old, it's clunky, you can feel the lens autofocusing, you could see the lens autofocusing as the element goes in and out, quite similar to the X100V or 6 now I guess, where you could see the elements moving. It's just an older design. If I'm completely honest with you, for most people it's actually fine. I mean, I have to jump down there. I have to kind of revert back to what I said about the older lenses. I've always not slagged them off, but I've always been a bit critical that it's an older system, it's not going to be good. But obviously I've been using this lens for a while, and in most cases, when I say most, I mean 99% of cases, the autofocus was fine. Of course, if you're shooting continuous autofocus, burst, video, sports, wildlife, this is not the lens for you. However, most people, including myself, got this lens as like a walkabout, pocketable lens that you'll take on a chill walk along the beach on a Sunday morning. You're not going to need the best autofocus system for that. And that's where this lens is actually more than good enough for most people. Now, moving to manual focus, I would say that it's focus by wire. So like any focus by wire system, there is definitely a bit of a disconnect, shall we say, and it's not as tactile as a manual focus lens, but that's obvious, but I thought I'd mention it. Anyway, so to summarize, the autofocus is absolutely fine. I've used this lens with the XH2 and XH2S, and in both scenarios I had no issues at all. What else can I say about the autofocus? That's it. Overall, very happy with it. So to summarize, I think this is a great little lens. Would I recommend it? Well, £400 is a lot of money, I will say that. If you can find it cheaper used, definitely do it. I would say it's borderline worth it for that price, simply because of the size and the performance for the size. Now, who would I recommend it for, or the use cases for this lens? So first and foremost, if you have an XT body, or an XE, or an XT 30, 20, or 40, 50, whenever that comes out, this little Pancake will turn it into an X100V or 6 replacement. So for example, if you want a pocketable X100 style camera, but obviously you can't buy them or they're too expensive, then picking up something like an XT2 or an XT3 and throwing this lens on it is going to make for a great package, arguably an even better package than the actual X100, especially if you like longer lenses and the fact that it's weather sealed without having to put any filters on it. It also makes for a good backup lens. So let's say, like today, I've got the 16-55 because we're hiking, and I also have the little lens in my bag. I think I do anyway. I don't remember where I've put it. But anyway, I have the little lens in my bag, and if something happens with this, if I drop it or whatever, I have a backup. It weighs nothing, it doesn't take up any space. It's a really good backup to bring with you just in case. And the final use case for this is, again, if you have a bigger camera like me, like the XH2 or 2S, X-T5, whatever, and you don't want, let's say you want to go out for a bit of a chill walk, you're not focusing on photography, but you still want to bring your camera, that's a good lens to just quickly throw on and go out and shoot. So overall, would I recommend it? I would say yes, because even though it's not cheap, it's certainly a lens that I've enjoyed using. And when I purchased this lens, I actually thought that I'll probably end up selling it, but actually now that I've used it for a month, I'm definitely keeping it. I really like this lens. So there we go, that's it. I hope you found this video useful. I know it's been a bit all over the place. It's been filmed over the last week or so, but we got it done. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, I can't even speak, leave them down below. And that's it. Thank you again, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.
I'd like to take a moment and thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. It's never been easier to start your own business, blog or YouTube channel and turn your hobby into an income. Squarespace offers the perfect all-in-one solution that is designed to take the headache and hassle out of the entire process. First and foremost, this is your website where you can showcase your product or service in a clean and professional way. Secondly, this is your online store where you can sell your products and services with powerful tools built in. Thirdly, this is your blog where you can write about your industry, therefore increase Google ranking. And there are many other built-in tools that allow you to create members areas, send newsletters, schedule appointments, and much more. Finally, this is all available on your laptop or in your pocket. Add powerful analytics and you have an ideal all-in-one package to run your business. For a free trial followed by 10% off your first purchase, please use the link in the description or use code RomanFox when you check out. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.